Hello everyone, my name is Griff. I'm here today bringing you a update on the newest prize banner, the newest banner in I lost after my summons on the Zethia and Bahamut banner, which did not go great. But as part of today, we have gotten the retreat campaign follow-up rewards, which has offered us some beautiful Wormite and Sunlight stones and other items as part of that. So stash is starting to recover. But we're back here going over the Regina banner, the Regina showcase, the prize showcase that just came out. It came out yesterday, but I wanted to have my summon video go up so I would be able to record new content and have my where my counts actually match the accurate versions. But only person on this banner, the only thing on this banner is Regina, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, just slowly going over basically what Regina does and how I feel about her and her impressions on the meta, which I'm just going to start the showcase by saying, or start the video by saying, she is not I don't think she's going to be a really big part of the current meta. This might change with Surtur, but because we don't have a water endgame boss we don't have a endgame boss with a majority form in water. We have one for Master, but we don't have one in the other elements. We don't have Surtur yet, who should be coming out by the end of the month. So it's a little bit harder to talk about her. I'm going to talk about more Aha and Atoho and how those fights work. So she's going to be directly competing with Mascula, who is the other big water blade at the moment. But as you know, with a prize showcase, there are prizes you can get other than just, I think it's in the other notice. There are prizes you can get other than just the adventures. Every time you summon, you have a chance to roll again for prizes. Interestingly enough, there is no Orichalcum mentioned here. And I really thought that Orichalcum was going to be a new Platinum prize, because when they added Adamantite ingots to the game, they made it a Platinum prize as well. But it doesn't seem to be the case. So I still don't think we know of a way to get Orichalcum even paid or from this, so we'll have to see in the future what they do with it, if it's literally just a paid item, if it is something that we get very rarely from the game itself and as a reward item. We'll have to see. But as we get into the showcase, we do have Regina, who is a water blade. She's the one of the apostles. She is the leader of the apostles, commander of the apostles. That's what the title is here. Commander of the apostles we have here. And as far as I'm concerned, she is a pretty basic unit. She does some pretty interesting things. So her first skill, Tactical Skewer, deals damage to surrounding enemies and activates additional effects based on which of the following buffs the user has. If they have Preservation Protocol, they get a Defense Amp. If they have Restoration Protocol, they have they restore their HP. And if they have the Purification Protocol, they remove all afflictions from the user. Something to note is that the Team Defense Amp here only goes up to level 1, so she'll only be able to cycle through this 3 times before she reaches her maximum potential, other than having a second personal amp. So I guess 5 times technically. On the 6th time, you'll just go back to Team Strength Amp 1. But there isn't much wrong with that. A lot of the other units in the game really want units that can get the team up to level 1. And then you can have units like Galalis, I believe. No, I don't think actually she does. I think there is I don't know who I'm thinking of, but there's another. I believe there's another unit in water that can go beyond Team Amp 1. I don't remember who off the top of my head now. We'll have to see in the future how good this is, because again, Team Defense Amps are kind of niche. They're kind of, I mean, they're fine in some of the harder content, like in Sinister Dominion. They do help a bit, but they're not as potent as Strength Amps or the critical damage amps that we saw with Zethia. And then we have her second skill, which is Imperial Catalyst. Castelling, I guess. I've never seen that word before. Deals damage to surrounding enemies, inflicts Firefight, and inflicts 2 of the following: Poison, Burn, Paralysis, Stormlash, Flashburn, ShadowBlight, or Scorch Rend. So as you can see here, it randomly will trigger 2 of these, as well as Frostbite. So when you use this skill, you will be inflicting 3 afflictions. Now this is pretty cool because 1, it's shareable, which means if you pull her, you can put this on any unit and get 3 afflictions at about 11 SP, which is, you know, not great, but it's better than some of the other ways that you can get Affliction Punisher in multiple ways. But additionally, it's allowing her to bring afflictions to water content. This is probably her strongest point of this is where you really want her to be. This is the reason you would use her, because a lot of the water bosses in the game don't have any resistance to these new types of afflictions, and in fact Aha and Atoho and Ibis, who is another character that we would see this skill use on, are based on afflictions. And you using certain afflictions, you're actually able to negate certain parts of the fight. Like you need to use an affliction at a certain point, and it will get rid of the buffs on them. If you have this, it's more likely that you'll be able to inflict all these other afflictions. Notably, Bog isn't here, so she doesn't actually have both of water afflictions. She only has Frostbite, so that is a point of contention. But she does have a lot of the other afflictions in the game, so it is pretty cool to see that. Then you have her co-ability and her chain co-ability. This defensive, offensive combination. We've seen this a bunch of times with a bunch of different units. It's pretty standard. And as we continue with this, we have her Conviction, her Covenant, which is tied to her lock sigil. So all the apostles in the game have this effect, where basically for the first 300 seconds of a fight, they are like locked, and then after a certain point, they unlock and they're able to basically do more damage or have new effects unlock. In her case, as you can see here with her first skill, she has these 3 modes that she can go into, and basically the way you cycle between them is holding the 4 strikes for 1.5 seconds. You hold it down and it will just cycle between them very quickly, and it goes in the order of Preservation, Restoration, Purification, in that order. Once her sigil is unlocked, she gains all of these permanently. So this first skill then heals you, gives you a defense amp, and removes all afflictions from the user. And additionally, the way that you unlock this faster is by using her first skill, which will reduce it by 9 seconds. And if you use her first skill to, basically, if you use her to remove an affliction, which only way that she can do that naturally is her first skill. If you give her shared skills for something like, for example, a low-end shared skill, and your teammates are bogged, hypothetically, this would be another way to do that. I don't know if this stacks independently on her or if it stacks independently on each adventurer. So for example, if you were to use the low-end skill and all 3 of your teammates, including herself, so that'd be 4 actually, were bogged, if you get 120 seconds off, I don't think that's the case, but it's still a faster way to get through it. Every 30 seconds you do about 10 of those skill 1s, you're going to be already done with it if you're clearing the affliction every time. Additionally, you get the 9 seconds, and then you just have the normal time as well. So you probably want to get this down by like 2 minutes, hopefully. If you can cut off 120 seconds, that'd be the best case scenario with her. I don't know what the average time is yet. A lot of people aren't really talking about her yet because she doesn't really have a potential in a Sinister Dominion fight as a base yet. And when we get to Surtur, the conversation will be a lot different. We'll have to see how Surtur could play around these afflictions if he is affliction based like Aha and Toho are. If that's the case, then this is very strong. If he's not, then it's just as it is. And then she has Stun Res, and then her third ability is a unique one. Afflicted Punisher 2 increases damage to enemies afflicted by any affliction by 25%. Also increases damage to two enemies with 2 or more afflictions by an additional 15% based on the number of different afflictions they are afflicted with up to a maximum of 4. So I believe basically it would scale basically with up to 4. You would get that 15% bonus to make it a 40% bonus. Pretty strong. And again, with her first skill, or actually her second skill rather, she's going to be inflicting 3 naturally. So if you can cycle through that skill 2 before the other skills would go out, before the other afflictions would go out, it's very possible that you'd be able to stack multiple of these different afflictions at one time. So that's basically her niche, is going to be stacking these afflictions. And the fact that it's shareable is very strong, and the fact that she's able to give herself these restore HP and the defense amp and the affliction resistance, or actually the affliction removal in her case actually, is very strong as well. We're going to have to see what the other banners hold, and this prize showcase goes about until I believe the 15th at reset, which is about when a Gala Remix would be normally happening. A Gala Remix might not be happening. They mentioned that they wanted to change the way that Gala banners went going forward, possibly mentioning the fact of having more combined banners, which could mean we could see less Gala Remixes, we could see less Gala banners in general, we could go back to a 2-month Gala banner instead of a 1-month. We'll really have to see what the future holds. But I think that right now, I don't think this character is very worth it in the sense of if you have Galamascula. Galamascula, who is a full standard attack damage, wave clear kind of unit, is very strong right now, and he's probably one of the best water blades there is. There's also Valerio and Halloween Akasha, both of which have their own little niches. Valerio actually kind of does what she does, which is he inflicts multiple afflictions, but in his case he actually can inflict freeze and bog, I believe. So it is going to be a little bit interesting to see what else we'll be able to get with him. And I don't think until the Sinister Dominion fight is out, I can say for sure if she'll be good in it or not. But for right now, I can say that with the current fights that we have going on, Aha and Toho, if you're going to compare, especially in Legend, Mascula to her, Mascula wins in almost every way. Now, Mascula is a Gala adventure, so that's a bit harder to say. We did have a showcase the past week where he was on focus, and there were free summons on that. So if you did pull him, and you're wondering about Regina, I think it's okay to skip for now. She is in the permanent pool. She is on the focus for the next 10 days, which means that you should be able to get a free summon, a free 5-star rather, from this banner, and she is the only thing on rate up. So there's a higher chance you'll get her than anything else. That doesn't mean you will get her. Obviously, as with my summon session, you don't always get what's on rate up. So look to that. But right now, I don't think that she is a necessary element in the water metagame currently. But I do think she's very cool. I like her character a lot. She's more of like a nerdy analysis kind of character, which I very like. And she's very smart as well, as the leader of the Apostles. Well, I guess she's technically not the leader, but she's like the overarching force of the Apostles, which is very cool. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.